doing something different this year with Ghost Biker Explorations Season 6. Every single episode of Season 6 is going to be live.
Every town has a ghost story that's been passed down throughout the generations. But what if those legends are true? My job is to travel to these destinations, explore them, and figure out the mystery that lies within. Hey everyone, happy Thursday night, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be back here in my own house and live with you guys from the show. You know, this would typically be our Ghost Biker Garage, but we are still here kind of doing some things here with Season 6. So this is the Behind the Screams for episode 4 of Season 6. We didn't get to do a Behind the Screams last Thursday night because we had a double header tour there at Rugby on Thursday night. We had a cemetery tour and we had a jailhouse flashlight tour. So we had to push it to this week. I had thought about doing another live investigation tonight, but I wanted to catch up here on the Ghost Biker Garage and Behind the Screams. So just want to say hello to people who are over here on the side. Hello to Miss Nancy Weems. Thank you so much for watching. Janet Alms, thank you so much for your kind words. Season 6 was so successful. We loved doing the lives, made it an interactive season. And, you know, I have totally decided from this point we're going to definitely be doing more lives throughout the year, putting more content out. It was a great season, and I really enjoyed interacting with everybody on the lives. Had a plan when I came in. You know, we were going to do 2-hour live and then a 2-hour investigation off live, but we had so much fun doing the lives that some of these lives went for as long as 4.5 hours. And that was just so cool. So hello to Miss Susan Purcell, Sonia Thompson, Tony Wright, Dr. Christy Sumner, hello. Thank you so much for watching. Addie, you definitely, hopefully we won't put you to sleep and you'll be able to stay up late. But if you got to fall asleep to anybody, I hope you're falling asleep to us here. Hello to Miss Becky. It was great meeting you last week when we were up there in Appomattox, Virginia. Good evening, Janet. And Steve White, good evening. Thank you so much. And Steve, I just got to say thank you so much for all of your shares and support and helping us get the word out whenever we're doing these lives. I truly appreciate it, and it definitely has been noticed. So thank you so much. And I just got to say, you know, it as Nancy says, it has been a great time, but I've really got to say, you know, I'm really humbled by the support that everyone has shown in helping to get the word out there for these lives. And then also for everybody who participated. Send in your questions, send in your timestamps. I have just gotten inundated this week from last week's live with people sending in timestamps that they want us to check out on the past shows. So definitely, if you didn't watch them, go back. We had 5 great episodes last week, or actually earlier this week on Tuesday night. We had the season finale, and that was at Rimrow Valley Entertainment Center, which was in Rockcastle County, Kentucky. And that place was huge, and that place was not just huge in size, but huge in activity. And so, of course, we'll be talking about that probably next Thursday night. We hope to have Lee and hopefully Christy, since she helped me film. Hopefully she'll pop on next week. And then also I'm hoping that we can get Becky from Rockcastle County Tourism on to talk about that sort of thing. So again, thank you guys so much for making this a great season. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of that stuff as we go throughout the show. I do want to mention a couple things. that let me get over here and pull this up. Couple different things that we've got going on. We've got the last event of the season that's going to be coming up this weekend, and that's going to be the Harleys and Harlots Murder Mystery and Ghost Hunt, and that's going to be taking place at the famous Hotel Metropolitan in Paducah, Kentucky. And I'm very excited. Paranormal Adventures Events, TJ heads that up. He asked me to be a part of this, and I just absolutely couldn't say no, because they put on great events. We had TJ on earlier this year, as well as JB Coates, who is the Obsidian Queen herself. She's the author of the Obsidian novels. And I'm just very excited to be a part of this event with them. The Hotel Metropolitan has such an awesome history. But just to tell you a little bit about this event, there are still tickets available. It starts on November 4th, which is this Saturday at 5 p.m. Central Time. And basically, it's a murder mystery that's set there at the Hotel Metropolitan. The hotel was frequented by famous guests who entertained in the Paducah area during segregation, which was when, because of the times, people of color were allowed to entertain for Caucasian people, but weren't allowed to stay at the location or the venue. So it's such a great history here. There's going to be hors d'oeuvres, refreshments. According to the information that's on here, there's going to be tea, lemonade, soda that's going to be served during the mystery game. I think they're going to have adult themed drinks that are from that era, and all of that will be at an extra ticket purchase. And then there's going to be door prizes, and they've got different tickets available. They've got the ultimate VIP ticket that includes a room at the Hotel Metropolitan, which sleeps 1 or 2 people, depending on your voucher, and then the murder mystery investigation game that's going to be taking place there at the Hotel Metropolitan, and then the ghost hunt that takes place after the murder has been revealed, and then, of course, the hors d'oeuvres and refreshments will be included. And then, of course, there's the regular admission ticket price, which is to the murder mystery investigation game at the masquerade ball, and then the ghost hunt after the murder mystery has been revealed. So it seems that the ultimate VIP must include the room. The other is just for the admission ticket to the murder mystery game, and then the ghost hunt. And then it looks like they've got a little more information about the murder mystery ball, the dinner, and then, of course, the ghost hunt. So the special guests, again, it's going to be myself. It's going to be JB Coates. It's going to be Gavin and Paula Kelly. And then, of course, the Boo Crew. So, Greg TJ Justice puts great events on. And, of course, he's with Paranormal Adventures Events. All of that information can be found out. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the comments right here. So if anyone is still wanting to get tickets to that, we do have those in the comments. We also have the post on the Ghost Biker Explorations page. So hopefully you'll go and check that out. Join us for a fun event that's coming up here on Saturday night. And then, of course, like I said, that will be my last event for the season. So going to be wrapping up the season strong with an event. So we're really, really excited about that. And so, of course, there's the link that you can pull that up on. Also, a couple things when it comes to the historic Scott County Jail. We will be announcing our tours for November and December. Tomorrow we will have those dates up there. Those are for the flashlight tours and guided ghost hunts for the month of November. It's kind of taken us a few minutes to get some of that out there because with Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff, we're working out the schedule, but we will be open some extended hours during that month for those special events when people are off school and when people are traveling to the area. We'll be reviving our ghost walk, and they're in Huntsville, and it's going to be the Ghosts of the Past at Christmas time, where you're going to get to go through the Christmas lights, hear the ghostly stories from Huntsville, Tennessee, and then do a flashlight tour of the jail. Those will be starting at the end of the month in November, going through Christmas time. And then, of course, we'll have the traditional flashlight walks, the flashlight tours there of the jail. And then, of course, the lantern tours at Historic Rugby. We're working around their schedule because I know they've got their gala and they've also got their daytime Christmas and Thanksgiving events that they're doing there. So we're kind of been working that schedule out with them. We will have that up there. We'll also be announcing our 2024 schedule for paranormal investigations that will be coming up. And that's something we should be announcing that when it comes, I think either mid-November or Thanksgiving. So stay on the lookout for that, because we're going to be having some special things planned for historic Rugby After Dark, as well as the historic Scott County Jail during the months of January, February, and March. So we are climate controlled there at the jail. So you're going to want to take advantage of some of the things that we've got planned there for the colder months, that you can go in and do, during where it's climate controlled. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and get to tonight's topic. We're going to be talking about episode 4 of season 6, which was when we traveled to Appomattox, Virginia, to Clover Hill Village. And so I've got a couple special guests that are going to be on here with me tonight, and we're going to be breaking down the episode. We're also going to be playing a little bit from that live that we did. So if you guys watched it and have some certain areas that you'd like for me to pull up whenever we do this, just let me know. And then really just breaking down the personal experiences and stuff that we had. So if you have any questions, if you don't mind, please put those in all caps over on the side, just so I make sure that I don't miss you guys. And we'll make sure that we bring that up. So yes, also I do want to mention this right quick before we get into that. Something that Chris said here, I want to actually share the screen on that, because it's actually something that's pretty cool, that we're pretty proud of. So we do have potato chips now here at the jail, something we've been wanting to do since we opened. That was part of our business plan, was to actually open a little commissary there at the jail, so that people could have snacks. They could come in, whether they're taking the tours or whether they're a paranormal investigator. We're really excited. We have partnered with Jailbreaker brand potato chips, and we'll be selling their Cell Boss blend chips there at the jail. We have those out. You can actually come by tomorrow and purchase them. We got them in the system and everything. And these chips are actually really good. They're kind of like a spicy, sweet barbecue. And the thing I love the most about them is the fact that they are big bags. I mean, they're the 3-ounce bags, and they're not all air like a lot of potato chips are. They are they fill them to the top. So we've got our displays set up there in the gift shop. And so we're excited to offer that. If you're working at one of the local Huntsville businesses and you kind of need that little 2 p.m. snack, definitely come by, check it out. And yeah, Tiffany can definitely attest to that, because we did snack on them whenever we were there at Haygood Mill. We were trying and also had them when we were up there. I ended up finding out about them when I was up doing the Ghost Biker Hogs and Haunts event there at Harley Davidson in London, Kentucky. They're a London-based brand, and so they had them at the Airbnb that I was staying at, and so tried them, liked them, reached out to the Jailbreaker brands, and so a partnership was formed. And so we're really excited to be using other local vendors that are doing really cool things. So come by the jail, check them out, and at least try them. I mean, they're really cool. So very excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead, bring on tonight's guests. I've got Mr. Daryl Paulette, who is with Bedford Paranormal. He joined us there at Clover Hill Village and really introduced us to the place and told us all about it. And then I also have my investigator extraordinaire, camera person, Tiffany White here. She to talk about what we experienced. So, hey guys, thanks for tuning in tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so just in case people didn't tune in, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, and we'll just dive right into talking a little bit about Clover Hill. Once you all do that, I'm going to pull up some images, and we'll kind of cycle through and talk about Clover Hill as well.
All right. Tiffany, you want to go first? You want me to go?
Go ahead, Daryl. You're the star.
I don't know about that now. Daryl Paulette. I'm with Bedford Paranormal in Bedford, Virginia, part of their group. Live in Appomattox County, where the Civil War ended. And right on the back side of that is a nice little village, what we call Clover Hill. It's kind of a diamond in the diamond in the rough as far as paranormal. So I guess I've been doing it for probably about 11, 12 years now. And being in Appomattox, Clover Hill was real close, about a couple miles from my house. So it was real easy to pack up and just run down there real quick and get started. Of course, kind of keeping it to myself right now, but I think it might be in the works, so we might start sharing it.
Nice. And we can talk a little bit more about that. We won't go into detail very much, but that's something that has been a mission here with this season of really investigating these locations, is getting that word out, because most of them were lesser known locations, at least as far as regionally. They may have been more locally known.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Clover Hill Village, like give a little information on that. It's kind of the National Historical Society just bought a piece of property back in '91, and they were trying to save some of the older buildings in the area. So they would bring them in and revitalize them, and of course they got a couple replicas too, but the majority of the buildings are authentic. And so it's pretty much like a living history is what Clover Hill is.
Nice. So, Tiffany, why don't you share a little bit about, because I mean, you've got such a vast experience with paranormal investigating, and that's why I absolutely love investigating with you.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tiffany White. I've been an investigator for about 20 years, but I've really been doing it since I was like 8 or 9 years old. You can talk to my childhood friends. I would drag them all over town into the graveyard at midnight, hunting ghosts and stuff like that. I've just always been into that kind of thing. But professionally and, adult-like for the last 20 years, I belong to End of the Line Paranormal, as a group that me and my friend Jamie founded. And we started the paranormal tours at the former Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. And we travel all over and did residential. So I'm used to big places, houses, little places. I'm used to giving tours. I'm used to teaching people how to investigate the paranormal. So, and I love doing every bit of it. It all has its give and take, but yeah, I love doing all of that. Unfortunately, I had to take a step back, and Miranda has been gracious enough to allow me to come help her and try not to make a fool of myself. So I've been out of the game for just a little while. But I'm definitely back, and it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. And so thank you for, yeah.
You're
And
welcome.
we always get great evidence together. We investigate together so well.
Yeah. I've completely just thoroughly enjoyed it, and I appreciate you stepping up and helping me, because I think I didn't realize I've done lives for a long time, as long as I've been investigating, but I didn't realize just how much would go into doing an actual live production for my season. So I couldn't have done it without you all coming there, man in the comments. I mean, and taking care of the lighting, the video. I mean, it's a lot. You all did a whole lot, and then just keeping me company on the travels. I mean, that in and of itself I had a blast.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It's a lot. I don't think a lot of people understand what goes on behind the scenes. Like, you see these polished videos, but it's a lot of travel. It's a lot of lack of sleep. It's a lot of equipment failures and things going wrong and stuff like that. And then when you add the live element in it, you really don't have time to like sit down and take a breath and go, oh, I just need 30 minutes to not be mad at this stuff. And so you don't have time for that, but it's so authentic. And I think that's why it's been so successful. I mean, I was excited when you told me you were going to make this season live. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, and you need to be bringing everybody in and getting them to do this. Like, I was excited. I know it would turn out well. And you're so good on your lives. So put a camera in my face and I kind of start acting a little weird, but you do great on camera. And so I know your lives, you'd kill your lives. So I know
Well,
it'll be a
thank
good
you.
season. And the
I
places you picked were awesome.
This season, I mean, is unmatched. I mean, I loved last season doing jails, but I think maybe I was a little biased on that. But this season was so special because I got to go to places like Clover Hill Village and, Renfro Valley Entertainment Center, Haygood Mill, the Heritage Hills Entertainment Center, and of course, Rugby. I mean, these places are all places that, as we kind of talked about, are places that they're they really survive on the daily funds of these tours. And so just getting that information out there that these really cool locations exist and that they have a haunting history was something that was really special to be able to do. So Daryl, I'm actually going to pull some pictures up on the screen of Clover Hill Village, and
Okay.
if you don't mind kind of sharing a little bit. I know you kind of spoke a little bit about the history, but just in case people didn't watch the live, and of course they couldn't see it during the nighttime, I'm going to go ahead and pull these up if you want to kind of share some of that. Okay, and so I'm going to find here. There we go. So as you had said, this is essentially on the backside of Appomattox, which Tiffany and I spent the day touring. Before we came back, we spent the day touring Appomattox, the surrender site, the courthouse, the old jail.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I think Tiffany will agree. We've got to go back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, definitely. Got to go back. And as a matter of fact, my husband was so jealous. We're going back this weekend.
Oh, wow.
He wants to go down and check everything out. And yeah, he can't wait. He's a huge war buff. And he was
Oh,
like,
boy.
so yeah, I'm going right back down there.
We got plenty for him down here. That's for sure.
Yeah, so it should be a good trip with him and the kiddos. Well,
That's right.
you know how kids are. I'm cold, I'm tired.
All right.
But we'll have a good time. So
Now, the picture we got here, that's the Grady and Martin log cabin. And of course, that was probably about in the 1830s when they brought it, or when it was built. And of course, it's been passed down by hands. It's other families that had lived there too. But I think it's been estimated like 12 children was raised in it's a single floor and a loft upstairs. So I guess you could call it an upstairs. But it's pretty tight quarters for 12 children. Now, I'm sure probably 12 children, they didn't all have them in there all at one time. And so, because they probably kicked a few out by the time the little ones came along, but it's still right tight. It's pretty much all original as far as the furniture is authentic, most pieces. We've had pretty good luck in there. We didn't get to go to it, of course. I wish we had but we got pretty good activity in it. Times that I've, hunted it with the group that I'm in. So.
Yeah, we just got to go back.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
y'all. Couple buildings y'all didn't even hit. So you got to come back.
Yeah, this one definitely had an eerie feeling, and then it felt like when you were walking around outside, it felt like somebody was staring out the window at you, like watching you the whole time you were walking around, even from the back. So I really wish we would have got to it, but just gives us another excuse to come back. So.
Oh yeah.
That's right. And even during the day, I mean, it had that feel to it.
Yeah, that was in the middle of the day.
I had gotten there before y'all did, and I was unlocking everything, just checking things out, making sure I had the right keys for one thing. And when I opened that door, it just hit me. Let's just like I walked into a wall. So felt the hair on my arms, So it was something going on in there, even in the daytime.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Now this, of course, this is. I can hardly see it on my phone, but it looks like it's the chapel, the Wesley Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 1828, I believe, when it was actually built.
Whoops.
Of course, what are you bringing? Oh yeah, that's a better picture of it.
Yeah.
they had it was located somewhere over in what we call the Evergreen area of Appomattox County, and it was completely woods had grown up all the way around it. So they had to clear cut some stuff to get it out. And the only reason I know that is because I used to play in this church when I was a kid, because it was over near my grandparents' house. But I'm glad they brought that over and brought some life back into it. It's a fun place to be. I've caught some pretty good activity in that. Actually, the most activity as far as with me personally, but the other buildings are good too. But I like the church.
I really enjoyed the church, and I think from what I read, the church was in operation until what, 1930 or 1931?
1939, yes.
39. Okay. Yeah,
And
so
then
so
towards its
relatively, that's crazy. I mean, to have shut down in the 30s and still have been in operation for 100 years.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a long time.
So, and I don't know exactly why they some denominations, when they build a new church, they let one sit, and I think that's what happened to that. But I know another church group did before it was closed, was able to use it, and some of the stuff in this church too also is authentic. So it's pine hardwood floors and of course the pine pews. So yeah, it's just a cute little church. Now they still will, if somebody wants to get married, they will have a wedding in it.
And I thought I had pulled some more pictures from the inside, but I don't seem to have them here on this of the inside of the church. So I'll definitely I'll be posting pictures from the insides of these locations and stuff on just as regular posts. So we'll definitely have that. But I liked the fact that all these locations that we went to, or all these buildings here, had something Haint Blue on them, whether it was Haint Blue around the
They
windows
did.
or Haint Blue on the porch. That was too cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that funny.
Yeah.
And
And then, of
actually, I
course,
think it had just been painted before y'all got, not long. So it's
They knew we
fresh
were
paint.
coming.
That's right, knew we were coming.
I'm trying to see. Okay, I don't know if the top of this porch, but I think the bottom, I know the bottom of the other porch where we went in there here at the school, it was painted Haint Blue too.
Yeah, I
The
believe you're right.
bottom, the top, and the sides. I think the
That's
whole
right.
thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now
And I
this
think this has the stairs. Yeah.
this is, of course, just a one-room schoolhouse, and it was over. And actually, the oldest church in the county that was actually funded by the government. So, and it was like 1830s. Early 1900s. I mean, so yeah. Back then, I guess that was the church. I mean, the school to go to.
Yeah. And
Now, as far as the deaths and stuff like that, I'm not sure about if they were authentic or not, but they got it as pretty much close as I guess you could back then. So, but still a right neat little church. And then got this crazy mannequins in there that'll scare you to death in the dark.
Right. Nothing like having mannequins in a location when you're trying to investigate that.
Oh yeah, 'cause I was all excited. I thought I had something on the SLS. I was like, and even the shadow looks like a person. Oh my God, look at this. And then no, it was a doll. I was so disappointed. But that
And of
happens
course,
too.
And of course, they had the little general store. We didn't get to investigate that, but is that where the offices are located whenever you
Yeah,
come
and
in?
this is actually it's a replica of
Okay.
one that was in Appomattox. So it looked just like this from pictures, and they just built it. So it's a fairly new dwelling, but yeah, they kind of use it for as far as the office area, or actually just well, I mean, you could get stuff in there too, like some little souvenirs and stuff like that.
And of course, just a couple of the buildings that we didn't get to investigate at the time, either because we couldn't get into them or because of the time constraints. But they had the poorhouse there. There was also the blacksmith shop, the pole
Yeah.
barn, and I have a picture of it, but I don't have it in this group of pictures that I sent to myself. Was the Confederate winter house that was down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some things I've got in video that I've got to actually snip stills from before I
And
put them online there.
this picture here is the poorhouse. Now, this is one of them that you can't get into yet. It's kind of, it needs a little help. So they won't actually let anybody in that one yet until some of the repairs are done. But matter of fact, I had never been in that one. But yeah, like I said, it's some work that needs to be done to that. But hopefully that'll get done.
Yeah, because that was a cool little building. I would imagine that one will probably have some interesting activity
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah.
I may have to switch over. My internet is acting up yet again. So if y'all lose me, I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pull you up there if that's the case. And then of course, Two Clueless Dudes says it's in poor condition. Wah wah.
We
So
need sound effects.
we do. I need a button here. I need to get me one of those little audio sound things.
Yeah.
So if people want to come and visit Clover Hill Village, and they can come during the day, can you tell us a little bit about that, Daryl?
Yeah, it's open during the day. You can just walk the property and check the buildings out, and they have a donation box at the gate. So and like I say, this village is primarily run on donations. So just feel free if it's during the week, just drop a little bit in. But it's actually open Friday, Saturday, and Sundays to the public, where you can actually go into the dwellings themselves. So if you want to come and actually go in, that would be the time to come. And the staff, they're great people. So and know a whole lot more information than I do. So.
And James Brady, he says, I would like to get your contact info if possible, Daryl. I've been looking for a location in your area to investigate. And James and Kim, they're with Dark 30 Paranormal.
Okay.
They're the ones that made the music box that I've used this season, and they've investigated the jail. So really, really good investigators. So if you've got any suggestions on locations in your area, they definitely are a really good group. And then Two Clueless Dudes says, can you donate online?
I'm sure they can. I don't have the email or the site address or anything, but that's something that it should come up when you bring it up, Clover Hill Village, and it should give you more information as far as
up
if you
their
can donate online
website.
or not.
Wow. I'm going to pull up their website here so that
pull the
people
website
can.
up. And
Yeah, and so let's see here. And that's a good question, guys.
and I honestly don't know.
We'll have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Daryl.
I was just saying I would certainly hope it could, but I honestly don't know. I've never even looked at it as far as to see if you could.
Okay. Yeah. So if you go to, and I'm going to put the link in here, it's the appomattoxhistorical.org. If you go there, then you can actually, let me pull that up, put that in the comments. You can find more information on the village, the different structures there. And so once you get onto appomattoxhistorical.org, you go under facilities, and they've got the Clover Hill Village on there. And so it looks like that they've got, as I'm scrolling down, it looks like they've got not only information about the different areas there, but it looks like they've got a place that says get involved, and you can donate to the society. So so we'll definitely put all of this information out whenever we're highlighting these locations, because all of these locations are places that you can visit and tour during the day. Some have paranormal programs. Most of these places do not, because they've just been they're operating facilities, and they've only been investigated a time or two. So, and some are working on that, hoping to make them a more something else to add to what you can do at the location. So we're going to have all of this information whenever we go and break down the season. We will have all that information so people can contact, donate, visit, that sort of thing. Because again, that's been what's been the one of the most important parts for us, is getting the word out on this. So you had investigated this location on multiple occasions, correct,
Oh, yeah.
Daryl?
Yeah, of course, our group and the group I was with and Bedford Paranormal are the only ones that have investigated that. And Bedford had investigated when I was involved. So we just kind of invited them down. So
Nice.
actually, it's only just a handful of times, and it's just been us.
Okay.
But we've had that place does not disappoint. Every time I've been, it's always been something new, different. And it's just been fun to visit, and as far as investigate. We've had stuff from shadows, throwing stuff like chalk in the school.
Mhm.
Even the church vibrates. And of course you and Tiffany know that. So
Yeah.
so like say it sounds crazy, but the building will vibrate.
And it's solid.
Definitely.
That's the
Oh,
cool
yeah.
thing. It's solid.
Yeah. So, and cannon fire, we've heard cannon fire.
I'm pretty sure we got cannon fire. I just haven't got
I
to
hope-
listen to my recording yet, but I'm pretty sure we got it.
I
And
hope
the
we do,
walls
'cause it
vibrated.
was
Can y'all
one-
hear me okay?
We
Yeah.
can hear you great. You look
Great.
great too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some shadows. I don't know if I said that or not, but yeah, it's been great to investigate there, and it's a new place, so I don't think that this spirits there, it's all new to them too.
Mhm.
So and I feel like the more you go to a place, the more to give you, and that's the way I feel like
Absolutely.
about this place.
Definitely.
It has given me more and more and more each time I've been. So.
Yeah, and looks like one of your co-investigators, Mr. Ronnie Anderson, who's always been such a great supporter of everything we do here on Ghost Biker. He says, awesome location, church, schoolhouse, and the cabin were active with shadows.
That's right. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was lucky. He was one of them lucky enough to come down there with us.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think it was interesting because a lot of things that you had described and explained to us, we kind of ended up experiencing some of that in some form or fashion there on the property. And to
Yeah.
experience it on a live, that's even cooler because a lot of the
Oh.
time that don't happen.
And that was one of the things when you did come down, I was, if any time I wanted them to perform or do something for me, it was that time. So I was a nervous wreck.
I know, bless your heart. You were so nervous.
I wanted
We were like,
something to
hey,
happen so bad.
it's all good, So, I mean,
Oh,
that's one thing about these places. I mean, we've been places and don't get any activity, or you get some minimal activity, or you only get EVPs while you're there. So
oh,
you don't
yeah.
really hear or see anything. But these places are so steeped in history. The history alone carries these places. It's interesting enough with just the history and just
Exactly.
being there and feeling that and feeling like you're stepping back in time for just a moment. So, the place was awesome and it's definitely active and would definitely be back. Yeah. So you didn't have anything to be nervous about.
Well, I felt better when the stuff started happening. So yeah, it kind of eased me up a little bit. So
And that's why we picked the locations that we did, because even if there was no activity, just being in these places, these villages and homesteads and heritage museums, just sharing the stories and being surrounded by this history was phenomenal and just a great experience in and of itself.
yeah. And of course, like I said, I enjoy going there so much. So yeah, I like that's and it's so. I'm only 2 miles from the village, so it's so easy for me to be there, and so I don't have to really put a whole lot of heart and effort in trying to go. So
Do
I'm
you
a
feel
little
like
jealous it's in your backyard.
right? Do you feel that there's kind of a crossover of activity from Civil War, or do you think that most of what we were experiencing there is, something totally separate and different?
I think it's pretty much a good blend. I think the schoolhouse and take for instance, I think that's actually school related.
Hmm.
And of course, we got the cannon fire and stuff like that. Now, Appomattox, we did have Appomattox Indians, and of course, the Appomattox was
Yeah.
called Appomattox. So I mean, it's also Indian, land. So they would travel up the Appomattox River, hunt and trade, and so they would come up as far as this area. So it could be Indians. So I think it's kind of a good blend. I think we're getting a little bit of everything, really.
I think so too. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of queue up the investigation. And I don't really have a spot. I mean, I'm just going to start from the beginning there. I am going to mute the sound for right now and have it play, but we can always pull it up and play it. I'm going to start there with the church since that was where we started. Basically, we gave everyone the opportunity to let us know where they wanted us to start and what they wanted us to do. And so we kind of, as best of a tour as you can give in the dark with limited lighting, kind of let everyone know where we were and showed them some stuff. And so it was unanimous. Everybody wanted us to start with the church. And
I was glad
so
I brought that spotlight.
I am so glad you brought that
Yeah.
spotlight, because I'm telling you, this entire time has been, if nothing else, a learning experience for me of things that you need for the season for the lives and lighting, and then a person running the camera that's got at least 3, if not 4 arms.
Oh,
I
Which I think
know.
we figured out a few lighting ideas.
Yes.
So I had a light bulb moment.
Yes. Tiffany and I have kind of been scheming and brainstorming about doing more of these lives and coming up with ways that we want to, kind of put that stuff out there. So I'm really excited about that.
now
Hopefully solving some of our
we
problems.
came in from the back side, so we actually walked out or walked up on the podium. So
Yes.
that's how we're looking through the backside to the backside of the church.
And kind of telling, we did do a little bit of pre-setup for this one. So Tiffany, I got there earlier during the day, saw the lay of the land, decided some things how we wanted to set up, but we really decided that we didn't want to do a lot of pre-setup, just because when you get to some of these places, the place kind of tells you how they want to investigate. And so it was a mix of people saying what we needed to do, but then also how we wanted to set up. So we did set the tripwire up there in the front of or down the center aisle, all the way up to the podium there. And of course, there was no power or anything here inside the church, so we didn't have anything reacting on any of the different equipment. And we did set up some static cameras. So we did set up a static camera here in this room. And then also, we just did the school, right? The school and the church with static cameras.
Yeah.
I think that's all y'all did. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think we had any in the Civil War quarters.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I had it to do over again, I would have liked to have set a static cam up there in the cabin. But like I said, next time we'll have to do that then.
Sounds good.
And of course, we were kind of showing some of the different relics and some of the different items that were there from the early 1800s that's there inside of the case. And we pre-recorded a sermon from John Wesley himself, and also played some music. I thought that was kind of interesting. Once we get set up and started here, I thought it was kind of interesting how the sermon started,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and the activity we started getting from the sermon. And I kind of was thinking about it because it's like it started with a song that started the activity off,
Oh
and then
yeah.
it was quiet. And I was a little bit sad that we weren't getting activity while the sermon was going, but obviously you're probably not, because unless you've got an amen group over there, you're probably not going to get any activity during the sermon because people are probably going to be quiet and listening.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about that.
Yeah.
But once music was involved, it started jumping then.
Yeah.
Music always gets them going.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was interesting because we did play a variety of music, which I'll start the stuff here and start the sound here in just a few minutes. But I thought that was really cool because you could see, and we also had flashlights set up strategically throughout. We had some set on certain benches because you got your front row parishioners, you've got your back row, you've got your middle people, and then of course you've got your people that your organist. And so I thought it was interesting when we started talking about music and the organ light lit up as soon as we started talking about it. And then when we started talking about the people in the back row of the church, those flashlights lit up. I mean, you can't get more intelligent responses than that on command out of flashlights.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have loved to have been there when they took that lock off that door, that board off that door.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's in there solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things, the back door actually has a board across it, and it sits in a groove at the floor, and then of course it sits in a bracket at one side. And we were in there, and there was about 6 of us that night, and so we were asking questions and stuff like that, and all of a sudden this board hopped up out of the brace that it was in, and just enough to go over the edge, and it hit the floor. So whatever it was, tried pretty hard, and of course they scared everybody at first. Didn't know what that was, but after the fact, we thought it was pretty cool.
And I think we actually showed a close up of what that board looked like.
I did. Yeah. I went
yeah.
over and showed everybody what it looked like. It's
I
just, you could be in that church, and I mean, yeah, we had flashlight activity and they loved the music, but you could tell that church had the potential to really just rock and roll all night. The whole place did. But these
Mhm.
places that are investigated very much, your first time there, you may get a little bit. Maybe next time we go, we get a little bit more.
Exactly.
The more you go, the more they get used to you. And it definitely had a feeling like, especially at the church, that, you could see some freaky stuff going down in there.
Oh yeah.
And I love the way
it just
we
had a
did
weird
this.
vibe to it. I don't know.
It did, and I love the way we did this with the 2-point camera perspective there. Because I know just a few minutes before that we were showing from your perspective where you were walking, and so we had both the front and the back of the church at one point in time, which was really interesting. And I think
Mhm.
that's something that we'll try to incorporate on more lives like that, especially in a room like this, having that 2-point perspective. That was
Yeah,
really
we just
cool.
got to get better at our camera skills.
Well, I didn't think you did too bad. Well, I was the one holding the camera, so I agree with that.
And one of the things where it's rolling right there is one of the things that took us a little bit of time there at the beginning was it drained my tripwire.
Dreamed everything.
Oh
We
yeah.
had stuff on charge all day. Got it
Mhm.
there. We had like 3 gimbals. They all died. I mean, I changed, I don't know how many batteries. I mean, we couldn't keep nothing going. Next time we go, I have one of those portable chargers that'll like start your car or run your refrigerator. I'm taking it with me. So we're going to have something like that to keep everything powered up. We're going to have to
And
come
that's
up with something creative for that.
Yeah, and that's what and actually while we're watching this part, because there's a lot of comments coming in over there, I'm actually going to blow this up to full screen, hopefully, can see that a little bit better without the comments on the side. And that's why we charged the stuff the way that we did. A lot of things potentially drain your batteries. And so we had a 5.5 hour drive all the way up there. So I didn't want to take the risk, and the way the temperature was, it was fairly warm during the day. Didn't want to take the risk of getting any battery drain in the car. And so we waited. A lot of stuff had charges in it, but we actually went and charged it that day. So there was no chance of anything damaging the batteries. We made sure we had full battery because of that, let it charge all day. Yeah. So we changed the tripwire out. Let me just kind of push it forward just a little bit more. So we were live, looks like, for 3 hours and 45 minutes. So I think this was the point. Let's start the music right quick. I'm going to see if this is our sound. Is going to be preaching tonight. And we are going to be playing his most popular sermon. And let's see here. Virginia, yes, it is just one room. And Nancy says, was anyone baptized in a creek? We'll definitely ask that question here in a few minutes. And thank you for confirming that y'all can hear us. We definitely appreciate it. I was going to say when the... hello to Paradox Fossils, Alan. Thank you so much for watching. When the sermon started, because it's pretty neat how it started. This.
Well, I can tell
just
you.
let me know.
I thought he was a little creepy.
Yeah. I know Bob says it looks awesome.
That's what I thought.
He was very proper.
Yeah.
And I'm used to those mountain preachers.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. We just want to make sure that I don't want to go completely dark. I thought it was interesting because it started with a song. And to me, that told me a lot. And then, like I said, the more I thought about it, the more it's like, of course, they're not going to react unless they're amening. And I'm not really sure if Methodists amen
We've gone
like
through
Baptists
2
do.
so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But back to her question as far as baptized
Now,
in a
mine
creek,
is
and where
not
the church
picking up.
was at originally, it was a creek about a half a mile down the road, what we called Cub Creek.
Yeah.
And that was big enough. It was wide enough, I guess. If you moved the rocks around enough, you probably could get enough water puddled up where you could baptize somebody. So I guess that's possible.
Well, and two, and I don't know if it's changed, but Methodists tend to sprinkle, whereas Baptists fully submerge. So I don't know if there's a difference.
Yeah.
But I know there's a difference in the baptism style. I don't know if Methodists baptize in a creek or not, but I do know they baptize, but I think it's the difference of sprinkle versus dip.
Mm.
Yeah. But I don't know about the old school. So let me see.
Methodist is definitely not a religion I'm very familiar with. We had a Methodist church in my town, and my granny actually went to it some, but I mean, we were raised Southern Baptist and Mountain Church. I don't know if you'd call it Baptist or just mountain religion. So, but I never went to a church or a service at the Methodist church, so I'm not familiar with that at all, their practices.
I've been to a couple. We had a sister church that was a Methodist church, but and I know they kind of used to joke back and forth with us about that. And Nancy says that she was dipped and she went to Methodist.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and then
thank you for telling us that. And
then Addie says Methodist sprinkle, as do Lutherans and Episcopalians. So I'm not sure. I just know that's what I've always heard. So thank y'all for confirming and clearing that up, because I don't want to say anything wrong about any particular religion. And of course, it's probably it's honestly probably like a lot of when you look at Baptist churches and Church of God, Church of Christ, Church of, they do things a little bit different depending on where it's at.
the same but different. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me see if he was preaching yet.
Yeah, I've got to go to a Baptist church that this is the same as the next one. They're
Yeah,
all different.
They're all different. They're all influenced. Okay, it looks like it's getting ready to start. Tripwire's lighting up.
Oh yeah, you can see the lights flash pretty good there.
As soon as the music started. And there's, it's kind of interesting. Was that and it could have just been on Tiffany's camera over here. I'm going to run that back just a little bit. On the left-hand side, it almost looks like there's a shadow over there. Now, obviously, that could be pixelation or something, but
Yeah, I don't know.
let me go back to where that started. Now, we're all back behind the cameras.
Yeah, yeah.
And so on the GBE Cam 2, and you can see where I'm standing, where Daryl's standing. Now the music.
Tripwire's lighting up.
And so the tripwire went off when the music started. Now, does that
Right
look
there.
like a shadow walking?
Yeah, right. I see it. Yeah.
It looked like something to me.
Yeah.
And then it walks back. Look at that.
Yep, there it goes. That's creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
Sweet.
Wow.
Good eye.
I've got mine blowed up on my computer on the big screen so I can see real good.
Because what's crazy about that is none of us are moving and none of us are in front of a light source. That was...
Well, that validates the shadow.
Uh-huh.
That was big too.
It was really big.
Well,
yeah.
the one that I had seen before was probably a good 5 foot, 6 foot shadow.
And judging by how it is right now, just pulling this up on this one completely, I mean, none of us have moved. So, I mean, you would think if it was picking up one of us, and it's interesting, it did it right after all the lights came down on the tripwire.
Yeah.
Let's see. Odie says Civil War, Methodists baptized by pouring. They will take a bowl and pour it over the head of those being baptized. You can find it in the list of procedures of the Methodist Church post 1865. The church split over separation of slavery. And that's interesting because this church closed down in 1839. So thanks, Odie.
Interesting.
And of course,
I love catching stuff like that on camera in real time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, nothing is happening at this point. As Wesley is preaching. Didn't that say, didn't we, and you probably mentioned that, didn't you say that was his most popular?
Yeah, I said it was his most popular sermon.
It was.
And so I think this sermon, when I recorded it, it was like 16 minutes or 14 minutes or something like that. So we played it. Nothing lit up.
No.
And so I'm going to skip just a little bit. We found some music. And here's what's weird, because on mine, it did the same thing. It,
So I apologize.
I had to talk over it, but my sound got really weird. And last week or earlier this week did the same thing. Sound got really odd on there. We were having no issues, no problems. And then the sound got really odd.
I wonder if that was causing, maybe because of the drain. Because your
That's
camera,
possible.
I mean, your phone was draining at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Odie actually knows a whole lot about this, so this is actually really interesting. Says it also should be of note that John Wesley was a staunch supporter of prosecuting witches. The Methodist religion is in belief of witchcraft.
Oh.
Very interesting.
Yeah, he is actually working on a book on that, and we have some of his books there at the jail. So, but he is working on a book that's actually. So I know he is like steeped really deep in that topic right now.
Cool.
So thank you, Odie.
Church organ, just play an instrumental.
So let's see here.
It'll keep me from getting a strike.
I think we changed to. Oh, let's see here.
Wow. That's really cool. I don't know if you guys can see that light going off in the center. Addie, it's out of our control.
It's like something just kind of came up and came up to the center of the aisle there. We started getting lights there. It looks like the flashlight is also lighting up to the left. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Right there at the same point where the light on the tripwire is lighting up. And that was right when you started playing the organ music, I believe.
Yeah, the organ music got a lot of more activity.
And actually, when you put it over there, I figured that was probably going to be the flashlight that did the least.
Oh, really?
But I was pleased with that.
You know, I've found at these locations, and we've talked about this before, those flashlights seem to do so well at these locations that haven't been investigated very much.
Yeah. Yeah, for whatever reason, easier, not as daunting. I don't know.
Well,
I always get great flashlight activity in new places.
I was referring to just having it sitting on the organ.
And I'm not sure if that. I thought it went off immediately when we started talking about music, but I can't remember. And I may have skipped that part because I'm skipping through just for the essence of time. And I've not gone through and really sat and watched everything because I think I've slept in my own house this month 7 nights out of the month of October between traveling for this and events and family emergencies and everything. I've not had the chance to go back and really watch everything as closely as I would like.
For watching. Sheila says, "Is this now? Is this church now?"
Yeah, my voice sounds creepy on there with whatever's going on with the audio.
Definitely trying to pull the voices and stuff up here and not be too loud in some areas. Sheila, the church known to be haunted.
Addie says, "Do you hear or feel something about Sweeney?" I apologize. I'm not sure what Sweeney is. Do you all
Did you
know?
say Sweeney?
Sweeney? Mm-hmm.
Now there's we had a guy called Joe Sweeney that made I guess that's the first 7-string banjo. Now that he's also in the same area.
Oh, really?
His old home place is on the state park, but it's kind of would be adjacent to this property.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sonia says the audio was the same from the other night's investigation too. Very creepy sounding. And again, I was getting. Okay. I think that's where I'd asked something about the Oregon. I'm not sure if that's where it lit up, but I know at some point when we ask about music, the Oregon lit up.
Now that was pretty cool when you got an amen.
Yeah, I'm going to go back right quick. Whoops. Let's see here.
Because that was pretty good, quick response there.
Uh-huh. And it's weird that it's like, boom.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Because I think I asked, yeah, could I get an amen?
It did. It sounded like a whisper that came from over here.
We definitely need to go back and listen with headphones on this.
Yeah, because it was a lady that you thought we had heard whisper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where Tiffany goes over. We ask about getting an amen.
That's my favorite. I think overrunning rules. Okay, let's see. I want to ask, is it, can we get an amen? Y'all want to hear that?
That was cool.
Yeah. I love instantaneous responses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'll keep that.
Um,
I'm
Is
going
that-
to reset this tripwire.
Not really sure what's going on.
Now you reset this tripwire,
It's just standing
and
right
of course,
there.
the light that stays on after you reset it is the one in front of it.
yeah, that's
so it's
right.
Actually
That's right.
It's actually a different light once you reset it.
Yeah.
That would upset me if I was standing somewhere making a light go off and people were just like, oh, I need to reset this. And then it's like, but
Not
I'm
sure
sitting
what's
here
going
letting it
on
go
with that
off.
one.
And it was interesting. It seemed like all throughout we had a lot of people that seemed to be going up to the altar.
Yeah.
And it was hard to kind of position the camera to where you could see everything on this.
Oh yeah, the lights was changing so fast that you just couldn't keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like this song? Oh,
Yeah.
there's the organ.
I didn't really know if the organ would go off or not.
Sheila, it's very possible Spirit could be messing with it. We do get stuff like that.
But it went off multiple times, so it wasn't just that one.
No. I thought it was interesting to me whenever the lights in the pews started going off, because for a long time,
Oh,
other than
wow,
that
look at that.
amen,
Every one of
and
them.
when that one light was flickering right back there by that one light that was going off, we weren't getting any activity
Thank
in the
you.
pews.
Can you walk up the aisle? Come on up here to the altar.
I feel like we needed a camera
No,
mounted to
they
the
seem
ceiling
to
on
like
this
it,
one,
Addie.
so you could like see the whole room.
That would have been good.
Well, I think here's probably another example. I'm not sure how Methodist services work.
Yeah.
This is how Baptist and Mountain services work. You know, you
Mhm.
want
Thank
to
you, Bob. Thank you for the suggestion.
pray, get saved, need prayer, need people to lay hands on you, you come up to the front. I don't know if Methodists do that, so maybe that was not a good question for this place, or maybe it was. I don't know.
Mhm.
Canon. Now that's
Definitely
kind of interesting.
Okay, there's where
make
we
me do
thought.
my research a little more.
I think that's where we thought we heard a cannon.
Daryl, if you don't mind sharing about.
Let me see right here. Now something
on
did
up
go
here to
up
the
to the
altar.
front. We asked.
It did, yeah. And you had this feeling like somebody really did need prayer.
No, they
Like you felt
seem
that they
to
come
like
up
it,
and you
Addie.
felt them, you felt their woe. You really did.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay. I think this is something about cannons.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for the suggestion. Do what? Canon. Now that's kind of interesting. If you want to turn that down just a little bit. I know.
Did we
Daryl,
hear
if you don't
something at
mind
that
sharing
point?
about that one experience you all.
Or were we just talking about it?
I was thinking we heard something, but I didn't hear nothing there.
Well, we got cannon on the obelisk.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
might be where we're talking about the cannon on the obelisk. But then another point in the church, when the walls were vibrating, we thought we heard cannon, or I thought I heard cannons, not just cannon, but cannons.
I think they're doing that because of the music that's being played.
And we have
allowing
we had a recorder in there. I haven't got to listen to it yet. I'll try to listen to that this weekend.
But I want you to turn your lights on and let us know that you're seeing. That you're really into the service.
Yeah, absolutely, Vicki.
Yeah, we definitely need to investigate a holiness church.
Every time we talk about music, the organ lights up.
I'm hoping
Preacher, if you
because we had
you're up
stuff
here,
going off. I'm hoping,
can you
and
light
we had
your
the
light up?
camera in there. I'm hoping that while we were gone, I know the tripwire was lighting
Yeah.
up and it
I don't know
died
if you guys heard it on
again.
there.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping.
And they usually don't die that fast. So hopefully they were
is
doing
crazy,
something with it. Or could have just been
alive.
draining the juice like they were with everything else.
Well, it was completely dead when we
Yeah,
came in
Sheila,
that
the
second
spirits
time.
do really seem
Yeah.
to like the music.
So we had 2 dead tripwires.
Oh, this is my favorite song. I was just staying on.
Yeah.
I think it was great when we started talking about the
That
back
was
row
awesome.
centers and the back row lit up.
Oh, yeah.
I
Now,
love that.
Yeah.
we hadn't got to that point, have we?
Hey,
Come up
give me my
front with us.
charger right there.
We were in there quite a long time. I think we investigated for like an hour.
We're in there a long time.
Yeah.
Are your footsteps?
We're already on this an hour and
You
6
heard that
minutes
too?
in.
It's on the back in the back.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Now, y'all back in the back are being real quiet. Can I get an amen back in the back? How about an amen up in the front?
It would be nice one of y'all open that door, guys.
Somebody's come up to the front.
Coming up to the altar.
Mm-hmm. And because I'll tell you this weekend,
Dee Dee
we
says,
didn't.
do you like when people come to visit?
We didn't get any activity out of the tripwire. Any of the times I used it this past week.
Which is abnormal.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm continuing to investigate this place. I'm gonna get me one.
I love my tripwire.
And we couldn't
Love
hardly
that.
get any activity out of the tripwire.
Thank you,
last
Tiffany.
week.
Oh, you're welcome.
Do all the centers sit in the back of the church?
We need to get 2 more. I think we need at least 2 more tripwires.
Yeah. There we were talking about the back row centers.
Do you leave this bill?
Still have a
Still.
flashlight on the back.
Oh, look at that. Flash. Oh,
Yeah, there's a
you're
back
not
row
a center back there, are you?
I just, say what you want about the flashlights. I just don't know how when
Thank you for lighting that up back in the
you
back.
can start addressing the
Is there any more
specific
solar
area
right there beside
and it lights up. I don't know
I'm
how
trying
to
to
do
get
that.
things.
Oh, I know. It's because it's so many, different theories on this flashlights,
Mhm.
use of flashlights. But that right there, when it responds almost immediately, it kind of, shoots
Well,
the
like-
debunking part down.
Yeah, and like you said, in the
Just
exact
ask
spot
us
that you're
more.
talking to, if you've got
Look at that
10
back in the back.
flashlights set up and you
Flashlights
say,
on.
turn this
They're
one on
back.
over here to my left and that one
Thank
turns
you
on
back
and
there.
none of
Can
the
you flash
others.
that light if you can see me?
Mhm.
I mean,
You
that's,
flash that?
I mean, we hadn't got any activity out of that back
Tripwire.
row. And then we
Um,
start calling them back row centers and stuff. And
Praise
it's
the
just
Lord
like,
back there.
hey,
Are you praising?
I mean, I could understand
I'm gonna
if
step right up
the
here.
organ lights
Oh.
up, the front row lights up, and several
Yeah.
things like that are lighting up.
So I'm
I
gonna
can see where it'd be like,
stand right here.
maybe it's whatever,
Pulpit,
but
see if I can get
to
more
light up in the
views. I'll put
specific
better
area
view
when
up
you're
here.
addressing it, that's intelligent and that's
Sheila
aware.
asked, is the
I
church
agree.
still in
They're
use?
aware of their space.
It is
at
not
that
in
point.
use as a church, but you can.
And you probably insulted
do it.
somebody
You
too,
can have weddings
not
and
really
stuff.
realizing it,
I ain't
Um,
center, I was just late.
Yes, Tripwire's doing good.
Now, as far as the flashlight deal, it really, we had a lot of response in the schoolroom. So that's going to be good to see.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and move on to the school. Was there anything else that stood out here in the church?
I can't,
I mean,
can't
other than
think
just
of anything necessarily.
other than the vibration.
Yeah, which was when I thought we heard the cannon fire.
Okay. So when
So-
you are, okay.
Definitely
do
Virginia.
you think that
Might
could
be somebody
be a
different back there not
residual
willing to come to the
feeling
front.
rather than a
Oh, look at that.
so I don't know. Just think about it a second. If by
Residual
chance-
as far as from cannon fire.
yeah, like a feeling on the like something the church would have felt, not so much a
Like a-
residual.
Energetic vibration instead of,
Well, the night that we felt it, I mean, it was continuous. It probably lasted every bit of 30 seconds, 35, 40, 45 seconds. So, I mean, it was long enough for us to look at each other and feel the walls. And, it was definitely, vibrating enough where everybody knew it and could feel it.
Yeah.
It was
I know I
kind
ain't
of,
been to too many places that actually vibrate to where you can feel it.
yeah. And the way these floors are, you kind of debunk it floor part, but when the walls start vibrating, it's something to it.
Well, that building was solid too. It wasn't like one
really
you walk
was.
into. Yeah. It was warm. It was solid.
I
it
was
wasn't like,
surprised at how solid they all were.
yeah.
Even the Confederate winter cabin was, I mean, I bet they stayed toasty warm in
Oh, yeah.
there. I mean, even it was nice and tight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we couldn't hear nothing from going on outside. It was so tight.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And that's the good thing too. The road outside of there didn't appear to be a super busy road, at least when we
No.
were investigating. And I mean, we were pretty isolated, other than the exception of a random dog barking, from a neighbor house or something. We were pretty isolated,
Yeah,
and we
I
didn't
didn't.
have the light contamination either.
Yeah, I didn't hear any noise contamination really that I can remember, other than something that I was doing. I think I was having an off night. I kept dropping and tripping over things and stuff. So, but other than that, I didn't hear any noise pollution, which is great because a lot of these places, your audio is just ruined. But this was a good place for audio too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of skip ahead here to when we're in the school. Because like I said, I know we had a lot going on in there. Of course, we left the static cameras. So, of course, let's see. And of course, I'm buffering here. There we go. So actually, let me jump back to where we went into the school.
Now, this is the Hank Blue porch.
Yep.
Yeah.
During, I believe it's what, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays?
Yes.
Yeah. So
It's open.
we'll get that started there. And so we did like we did at the other places. We had the static camera set up. We also had a laser grid. We had a recorder in there as well, I think. I know the static camera had a recorder on it. And then we put random flashlights in the seat. We also utilized the board, wrote things on the board to see if they could either say the response or do the math or do whatever it was we were doing there. And I think we also put a REM pod back in that far corner.
Yeah, the troublemaker's desk.
Yes.
Yeah, we
And
had
then
that place pretty much wired up. We had the SLS camera in there too.
that's right.
Now the music box did go off once.
That's right. That's right. And we had it back the opposite way of where we
Yeah,
were standing.
So, us moving around didn't trigger it.
No. No. And Tiffany had set up the checkers game to see if there was any movement or anything happening while we were in there. Which I don't
Nobody
think we
wanted
got
to play.
anything on that.
Yeah, no, nobody wanted to play. They didn't move anything.
And so Ronnie says it was a cold night when we were there. I mean, it got pretty chilly that night we were there.
It did. Yeah. Yeah, by the time we made it back to our Airbnb, we were froze.
Yeah.
It was cold.
So I was thankful we were in those solid buildings. That made it really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it stayed warm in the buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you didn't go outside, you were all right. But inside the buildings, it was warm.
Let's see. I'm trying to see what I did. I think I set that down for a minute.
But the cooler weather seems to bring up more activity. So
Oh, I agree.
I prefer to go, even though I hate the cold. I prefer to go when it's colder. I just get better stuff.
I gotta say, I mean, that's me too. I prefer to investigate when it's colder.
I think they're all dying of heat stroke like we are in the summer.
Probably takes more energy out of them.
I would think. Takes it out of me. For sure.
Let's see. I was trying to think when. Okay, so let me kind of go back where we were asking questions here, because I think Teacher's Pet was there in the front, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
actually admitted to it.
Is that really just table. Is it showing the bell? Mhm.
I don't think you could do anything in that schoolroom without the teacher's pet throwing you under the bus.
I'm gonna walk over there.
No. No, she's a little Miss Chatty Cathy too.
And it's funny that she was right there in that front seat.
Virginia had a pretty good one. I read her down.
Okay. All right. All right, we got okay, if you can turn your light off. We've got a couple questions here. Turn this around.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get me a new phone.
Okay.
Mine,
Go ahead and turn your light off up there.
of course, the audio sounds good right there.
Oh, yeah.
Will all the boys turn your lights on? If you're a boy, turn your light on.
I think that was probably the best it
Can
sounded
all
all
the
night.
girls
I think so.
turn your light on? If you're a girl, go up and touch your light.
Boop. Lost Tiffany.
Yeah, I see.
Which side do the girls sit on? Who is the best at jump rope?
And I mean, we had some people sending in some great questions. So I love that because you just never know what people are going to ask.
Plug my
And
phone in as
Leads
well.
to
yeah.
some great
Getting down to
responses.
15% battery. Okay,
Good jump right there.
all right,
Yeah, it
good
took a
job.
little while for them to start answering the questions, but once it's like once they got the hang of it, they answered them pretty good.
Who was
after
the
that.
teacher's pet?
Yeah.
Oh, of
There
course
goes
you
the
are. You're
teacher's
sitting at
pet.
the front rows too. Teacher's pet always sits in the front. Okay, can you turn your light off? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
I
go
can't
ahead and
remember.
Turn
Was
your
it
light
you
off.
or Tiffany one asked her if they
Can you step
she
back on the
brought the
count of
apple
three?
and light came on.
1,
That's
2,
right.
3. Step back. All right, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Was the
interesting
teacher nice?
when you can kind of start to see their
Boy,
personalities
scary.
on through these investigations and stuff by the way they respond.
Oh yeah.
And actually, Jacob. Was the stick figure, but
And the way they like this teacher's pet, you can almost imagine what that little
yeah, I
girl
can
looked
see
like.
that.
Yeah.
That's
know.
not the. Is it picking at the mannequin? Oh, now that flashlight back here. We've got 2 flashlights that are on.
I should have put them on every single desk. I love my little mag lights, and I think I've got about 12 or 15 of them. You can't hardly find them anymore.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like every time I was ordering something off Amazon, I was like, I need to order a couple flashlights. And so
Is your mom or dad here?
I would order them and hold on to them.
Okay. One back there in the back.
You know, that
Is
was
this where you
probably would
went
have been
to
a good
school?
idea because if we had a flashlight on every desk, it ain't no telling what we could have got.
Yeah. I should have done that, and I just
Can you
was
tell
kind of
us the name of the
sparingly with it.
adult
But
that's in here?
yeah, I should have done that.
Well, I mean, you just have to come back to do it again.
I agree. Tiffany's not careful. I'll jump in. If I didn't have that event in
Do you
Paducah,
know your
I'd jump in
times
her
tables?
suitcase and sneak up there with them.
Well, both of you more than welcome.
Well, thank you, Daryl. And I agree, Nancy. I like how the flashlight fades too. And sometimes
About
when you
lunch?
really watch, you can kind of get the degree of responsiveness at times, depending on how they respond with the brightness of it.
I think the one in the front was laughing at you.
Yeah, well, must have been laughing or something.
It was kind of funny because it started flashing.
Do I get to wear the nose hat?
Yeah.
That was
All that close.
James says that we should have played poker with the kids in the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I don't have any kids, but I have been known to be a bad influence on them, so that would not have been
Glad I could make you laugh.
that would not have been above the realm of possibilities in there.
Did any of you skip school?
Well, you knew
Did
you weren't
eat
going to get a
lunch
response
on
from
the
that
way
question.
No. And see, that's what's cool is because, I mean, if they were just randomly going off, you know,
Yeah.
that question in particular,
How many
you
of you
know,
had to sit
I
in the
can see
back
it lighten
corner?
up, but
I'm gonna laugh when that goes off back there. That REM pod has been so quiet.
I've loved this season, everyone that I've investigated with or the different locations we've gone, being able to be creative about playing poker there in the
There's nothing
location. You know, we
falling
tried to
off
play a
walnuts
little
or
poker
anything
there in the
back there, is there?
Confederate
Yeah.
winter building, but it just didn't feel like there was much of anything going on
Is
that
your
night.
best
But now it
friend
did
in
feel
the
like
room?
it earlier that
Oh.
day.
No, no.
Okay.
And that's, I guess that's part of hunting.
You're their
So, I
best
mean, you
friend,
just don't
you're
know when you're going to get some and when you're not, but
I had some old, and they were very old cat eye marbles that I brought with me. I should have pulled those out while we
Got
were
my bestie
there.
over there. Turn the
And
light on.
I think something like jacks or pickup sticks might
There
have.
you go.
it's like jacks. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But the teacher not letting them
They had,
had to separate
I wish
them.
I had bought it, was a really cool pewter set of jacks. They had it there at Appomattox.
This one's the teacher's
That would have been cool
pet,
to try
so-
in there to actually put the flashlights out
If you
and
were the
see
teacher's
if,
pet, you were the
you know, with a couple of those kids
So,
games, see if we
who-
could have got some type of activity from it. Oh,
Who
there's the
brought the
apple.
teacher this apple? If you brought the teacher an apple, turn your light on. They've got a pitch pipe up here.
That was kind of funny that as soon as Tiffany popped on, her
Okay.
camera on, the thing went off.
Yeah.
I'm fixing to break out the sage. Like,
All right. Did you
All
have a
this
lunch
elec-
pail?
electrical stuff has just not been my friend lately.
Tell me about it. Yeah, clay marbles. That's something
Okay.
that would have been really good there too.
I've
Yeah.
got to get my speaker here in a second. And I need to get something to plug my phone in. We're going on 2 hours on this live. We've still got 28
Yeah, I
people
think that's
on.
about
And again, a lot of people
the
are
time
asking
I died,
questions,
and
so
it's kind of crazy
thank you. I'm gonna pull
because
you off, Tiffany.
the
It's
last
got
little
your
bit,
screen off.
everything has just, it just gets to a certain point and then
Okay.
it just drops like a rock.
I'm gonna pull you off
Yeah.
for right now.
And I mean, when you went outside to fool with
Okay.
your charging the phone up,
So
that's
again,
when
thank you guys for
Tiffany and
hanging
I, we
with
were
us,
getting a
for
whole lot of
asking
responses
questions.
that you
Yeah.
missed.
Let's see. Let me just go to there because there's where it
I
died.
mean, I kind of
So I pulled myself back on.
I
3
think they
times
like that
5, that's a
substitute
big
teacher
number.
they had.
Is it 10?
Everybody likes a
Is it
substitute.
15? If we count by 5 3 times, 5, 10, 15, 3 times 5, is that 15? Does that sound correct? Don't be afraid to speak up. I'm going to send on the letter home to all your parents that you are not participating.
Hey, teacher's pet.
She's like,
Thank you,
wait,
little Miss
wait.
Pet. Okay. So when I point, okay, turn your light out. Y'all don't seem to like arithmetic. Turn your light out. How about some English? So
That
when
was
I
funny.
point
I was just
at
kind of
the
like,
noun in
oh.
this sentence, you turn your lights on, okay? I'm going to read the sentence first. The dog jumped over the fence. So is this the noun?
And I was pointing with a stick at the board. I had
Okay.
the sentence
Was-
on the board.
Was there a dog that just barked?
Yeah, my dog.
Okay.
He's
That's-
still barking.
Well, that's weird though that
Do
you
you
ask
know what
about
a
the
noun
dog
is?
and the noun, and then your dog barks.
What about a
You'll probably
verb?
hear my goats
this
in
a
a
verb?
minute.
I'm like a substitute teacher that nobody pays attention to. Like, you know, you give the substitute crap the whole time. Okay, let's see. Let's look at the comments here. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think they care too much for English. Of course, I didn't either, so I didn't blame them.
Yeah, the teacher's pet is a girl.
Yeah.
Now, see,
Um,
if this had been the 80s,
And the letter said that
and
the
you'd
girl
you'd
sat
been
on
the
one
sub
side
and
and the
you'd
boy
rolled
sat
that
on
TV
another
cart
side.
into the class, we'd
We
probably
did
got
try
a
to
lot
go
of
through the
response
grades
then.
and ask them about what grade they were in, but we didn't get very far.
My
So,
classes must have been
let's
kind
see,
of
what's
bad.
3 times 3? Is that
Got rid of a
8?
couple substitute teachers.
If you know, if when I get to the answer, turn your light on. Nope. Sorry, you're wrong. Turn your light out.
I would make a
answer isn't
horrible
8.
teacher.
You're wrong.
Turn your light out. Anybody else know the answer? Is it 9?
It's like she's
about- okay.
chatting, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh, she's
after
chattering.
recess. So maybe you did math and English in the morning. What about reading? Y'all want me to read you a story?
Who wants to hear a story?
Now, I know I was reading where like the kids would have recess and they would go into the woods and they would get lost, so then they would be late coming back for recess. And we did ask questions about that in here, and we were getting
Right?
they said that we were missing kids because they didn't come back from recess on time.
I don't know why that's so funny to me that they got lost during recess.
Isn't that the truth?
I would so use that excuse. Why are you late? Because I couldn't find my way back from
Yeah.
recess.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would
apparently there
deliberately
was
go
no
back
like
to work.
there was no school boundaries,
I'm gonna give you
and they
that.
would go
Well,
play in the
I gotta find
woods a
short
lot.
story to read. That'll pick something up.
But still, you knew the kids probably knew that woods about like your back of their hand.
You know they did. You know they did. You know they heard that big old bell outside too. You can hear
They're
that
like-
thing for a mile away.
And they're like, I'm lost.
That'd been me every day.
Yeah. Back at the creek. Yep. Nancy says went to the creek.
Anybody got a favorite book they wanted to read? Somebody's got a favorite book, I know.
There really
Who's
wasn't
got
too
a
many
favorite
good
book?
books to choose from there. There was a lot of
Mhm.
old books, but no really good short stories. I mean, I could have sat there and read a big one, but I find when I go to places like this too,
Well,
if I find
Teacher's Pet's got a favorite
period
book.
books and things like that, or letters or something from that time era, and read them that is attached to that place, I get good activity doing that.
Yeah. For sure. I feel like when that happens, that like the walls come alive or the location
Mhm.
itself comes alive at that point.
Well, now that I'm
Okay.
thinking about it, when we were in the church,
It's
didn't
charging
I
now.
didn't I do like read
Trying
a
to find
sermon or a prayer
a
or something
book
in the
did.
church? And
You
we got a
did.
bunch of
I
activity
asked
out of
if
that.
anybody had a
That's
favorite. The
right.
teacher's
That's
pet
right.
said she did.
Read Psalms, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I expect nothing less.
That's what I was kind of hoping that she
Yeah,
probably
I could not get my
be
phone
the
to
first one to
charge.
turn that one on.
I put it onto an external battery, but it had to have more
Did
to
y'all
even
see
power it
hymns and
up.
stuff?
So
Have you started off the morning with
I tried.
hymns?
I think I grabbed a piece of
It's
pizza
usually
or something to
one
try to get it to charge. And I never could get my
Did you
phone
start
to
off by saying the pledge?
hold the charge long enough. It's like it
Does
would
anybody want to say the pledge with me?
hold enough to turn it on, but not enough to get back on.
Yeah.
You do?
Mhm.
All right. Okay, we're going to stand up and say the pledge. So when we start, why don't you all turn your lights on? I don't have a flag.
I think you were looking for a book at that point.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
over here in the corner. See the flag over here? All right, so we're all going to stand up, say the pledge. So attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. What else did you all do to start the?
I wonder if they also used this schoolhouse, since it was so early on, if they also used this as like a meeting house
Did you?
in their community.
I'm sure they probably did.
Did you start off with prayer?
Just like churches.
Yeah.
They would use it for meetings and stuff like that. Anything that was localized. So I'm sure it probably did.
Yes. Did anybody want to go up and
And being at the
dust
state
the
had
chalkboard with the
funded
erasers?
this building, it was probably the nicest
Anybody
one
wanna
to be
wipe
going
the
to.
chalkboard down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say so.
Everybody liked to wipe the chalkboard down. I even like that.
Oh, yeah. So I've got a story. Do y'all want to hear a story time? Anybody want to do story time? We can go back to math.
Story or math?
You do.
Oh, yeah.
No. Please, no more math.
Isn't that?
I'm just glad we didn't have to do that Common Core crap, whatever that is.
Right?
And it's old school math there we're doing.
Answer
Before we
that
get
one.
off here, you'll have to let me tell people about reading another thing at rugby.
Yes, that's instantly what I thought of. Yes.
One day, the spider sat in the middle of her web. She was all gold and black. The top of her head was silver gray. She was
Yeah, that's what I thought of when you were talking about reading.
What a beautiful web she had, too. It was made of the finest silk. It was all the spider's own work. You must know she is a very
They listen
finest
pretty good.
spider.
I think they like that
Mhm.
old
She made a
story.
little white Monday's pair.
I think they answered some of my questions once or twice, not every time.
Mhm.
Pretty soon a man came along, but the spider did not wish to see him. So she shook her web as hard as she could. Perhaps she thought that would keep him from
And you
seeing
know,
her.
I really didn't think of it until later on
I'm
either.
afraid he would too.
Their
though I
teacher's
cannot
pet
see why he
Oh,
should.
lit
yeah.
up.
He does not seem to
I really
know
didn't think
that
of it
she
till
is
later
one of
on,
his
but
best
you know, when we
friends.
were talking about the sermon and talking
But
about
so
people
she
being
is.
quiet,
She is a help
it's probably
to him
kind of
every
the same
day.
thing
She eats
with
insects
the
that
class
belong
here
to him
when they're
from the
reading
garden
and
that
everything
she
for the
herself
most
puts no
part.
harm to him.
Probably going to
Pretty
be
soon the man
be
went
quiet
away,
unless they're
and the
being
spider
asked a
sat still
question.
again.
Very true.
Ah, who is this flying so swiftly toward the spider web. It is mud wasp. Is she the caller that is wanted? We will watch to see how she is received. But where is that spider? She's not inside. Is she hiding? Hoping to get tangled in her web? Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's a good
It is
response.
one
So,
thing she has
Mhm.
run off from
Yeah.
mud wasp. It is well that she did. If she had not, the mud wasp would have run off with her. Oh,
I can just see a sassy little girl sitting in that
Oh
front
my
seat.
God.
right?
yeah.
It would probably been me in school, I'm sure.
She
I was
reminds
afraid
me of
too.
that mean girl on Little House on the Prairie.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The little
With his
blonde,
blonde,
whatever her name.
golden locks.
Yeah. That's what I kept picturing whenever she put her flashlight on.
Perhaps she flashed herself. I bet you this time, well, I think the spider's
Nellie?
lost and she got away.
Nellie, yeah.
If mud wasp should see her lying on the ground, she would not care to touch her. The spider
And
is
it's just
playing
funny
dead
because that's
down
the
there.
only one that's
She is
answering.
all curled up in a
But
little
then,
ball. She knows how
yep,
to keep
everyone
secrets
knows
from
Nellie
herself.
Olson.
Mud
Um,
wasp does not care for a dead spider.
but it's interesting
Now, the
because those
spider
other
comes to life
lights,
very quickly.
they
She climbs
they
up
didn't
her
go
stupid
off
rope to her
in
web.
answering some of those
Again,
questions,
she
but then
sits
later
still,
on,
waiting for the
they were
right
going
moment.
off
Who can she be
during
waiting
different
so
parts,
long?
Yeah.
She
but
hopes
not
some
random.
insect will come flying along. Does anybody know what kind of insect spiders like? Anybody tell me? Name an insect that a spider would like to eat.
See, like there, I'll be listening for a EVP to see if they
If
say
he does
anything
not
out
eat the
loud.
web, he may be called in it. That is the only way she has to get the meat. Or her
It
dinner.
wouldn't surprise me
You
if
see,
we
the
got
caller she
some
wants is
interesting
the one who
EVPs
brings
from
her
this
something for
place.
dinner. He may be
Yeah,
your
I'm
savior.
counting on it.
I think I will go on, Spider. I do not care to see you get your dinner ready. I don't know what.
Because some of these new locations have the best EVPs.
And one light on the back of the last chair.
Mhm.
I saw that black out.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay, let me go
Yeah.
back on
That
that
green
and
light up,
see.
you know, on the
Yeah.
back of it.
See if
When
you
she started reading.
I think I will go on, Spider.
I thought
do
I
not
caught a
care to
glimpse
see
of
you
one
get
of
your
the
dinner ready.
grid lights
I
go
don't know
out.
what the Spider get your dinner ready.
And one light on the back of the last chair.
Did you ever
Okay,
see
on the
it?
back
saw
of the
that
last
black out.
chair. Okay,
Yeah.
let me just go back just a little bit.
See if you can
I
focus
was
in.
looking on the
I
door.
don't know if it was my eyes or.
Right?
Oh, I don't
I
think I
really
can
know
zoom
that.
in.
But what has become of the Spider? She saw the mud wasp coming. She knew too while they were coming. Quick as a flash to drop.
I don't
on
know
the
how
web.
far I
She
went
spun
back.
the line to run back upon. Now she is lying quite still upon the ground. Perhaps she's laughing to herself. I beat you this time, mud wasp.
That was one of the things I wanted to check, see if I could zoom in.
If mud wasp should see her lying
I
on the
can't
ground,
zoom on the
she would not
broadcast, but I'll be able to zoom in
The spider is playing dead down
when I
there.
download it.
She is all curled up in a little bunch. She knows how to keep herself safe. Mud wasp does not care for a dead spider, so off she goes. Now the spider comes to life very quickly. She climbs up her silken rope to her web. Again, she sits still, waiting for the right call. For whom can she be waiting so long? She hopes some insect will come flying along. Does anybody know what kind of insect spiders like? Anybody tell me? Name an insect that a spider would like to eat. If he does not see her web, he may be called in it. That is the only way she has to get the meat for her dinner. You see, the caller she wants is the one who brings her something for dinner. He may be here soon. I think I will go on, Spider. I do not care to see you get your dinner ready. I don't know what the Spider get your dinner ready.
And one light on the back of the last chair. I saw
Hmm.
that black out.
Did y'all like that story?
That green light.
I couldn't tell.
When she
Yeah, I tried to
started
blow it
reading.
up. I have to watch the
And yeah, James, to answer your question, yeah, I always run audio during my investigations. I always have an audio recorder with the static camera that's in the rooms. So I know on sometimes on these, because you're streaming, we're right now we're playing through a streamed platform that was recorded through a streamed platform. So it's, there's always the issue
Mean
of
old substitute.
sometimes contamination through that of not being able to hear the fine sounds.
Oh
But
man.
yes, to answer your question, I do always.
Teacher's pet agreed with that real quick.
We made a comment about the mean old substitute, and Chatty Cathy just turned her light on.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be a teacher.
She's probably one that like tells on the substitute when the teacher comes back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can do that
Sure.
if you want to.
Hey, Bob, thank you so much for tuning in with us.
I mean, I thought we got some good stuff out of the schoolhouse.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought so too.
But it was quiet. We didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
No, and I am interested to go back and listen to this spirit box session, because it did seem like we did get a couple responses on the spirit box.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's the back
Let's see if you can use this to answer the
desk
problems on the
lighting up.
board.
It hadn't lit up in a long time.
What is 3 times 4?
Change the rate.
Who knows the answer? 3 times 4. If you get the answer right, you get to lead the pledge in the morning.
Let's start with an easy one, just to see if you know how to work this. What's 2 plus 2?
Sounded like they said 2 there.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah. But definitely be able to hear it better on the recorder when we review that, though.
Yeah. What we'll do is we'll go back and we'll sync the recorder up to the video.
Maybe you can tell
And
us
I'm curious
this.
to
I
see,
wrote
because
your
we'll have a
teacher's
different
name
angle
the
too on
board.
our static cam.
I know you know your
Mhm.
original teacher. Yeah. Okay. Use this box, talk to us, and tell us her name. What was her name?
Yeah, because I'm
That's hard to hear that
having
on.
a hard time hearing it. Yeah.
That's something we'll have to work on too when we do the spirit box sessions, is how to make it loud enough for you all to hear.
Say her name real loud.
Yeah. Because it's kind of a fine balance of trying to not have it so loud that it's obnoxious, but also have it playing
Can you say what this is?
that you can hear it. And I've got some different camera ideas too,
If you can
again,
see
for
this,
some different
tell me
angles.
what this is.
Mhm.
This one would have been cool to have had a 2-part angle with a camera in the very back of the room, even if we weren't manning it, but have a camera in the very back and then one in the very front to get both angles.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's all one big experiment anyway, so
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I think y'all have done a fantastic job. Not just this, but, the whole season.
Well, thank you,
can't,
Daryl.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
Does that help?
Audio
It
and
does?
stuff like that.
Okay. Tell me
Stuff
who
that
your teacher was.
There's a lot
What's
of
her name?
factors.
I wrote
I
it on the
mean,
board.
And I'm going to skip through a little bit of this too, because I think, is there anything else that stands out to you all on the school?
not the school, no.
I'm going to skip on kind of over here. So we were going into the Confederate winter cabin at this point. But
I wanted to sleep in there.
yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, but kind of back to what we were saying, it is interesting because, with this, it is a big experiment because you're not just at the mercy of whether the spirits interact or not, but you're at the mercy of internet service because you are streaming, and the internet service can affect so many things: the sound, the quality of the camera, and then just, I mean, you're also at the mercy of the streaming service because, like, when we did Hey Good Meal, we couldn't even rotate our cameras.
Yeah.
So it's, it's just one of those things where you just never know. And sometimes, not always, but in some instances, I think spirit interference is going to mess with some of the other stuff,
Oh, absolutely. I believe that 100%.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we could have very easily driven there and had the live set up, which I had it pre-set up with StreamYard. I mean, there was always a very good possibility that we might not have been able to even go live. I actually want to play the audio on this because I think we got something kind of interesting on the Ovilus there.
Snake's belly. All right. Yeah, definitely a cool.
I think I was having.
Just this.
All right, well, this right here, this was my first time and y'all's too, so I mean,
Everything keeps
Mhm.
spinning on
definitely
this.
investigated.
Yeah. That's
I
like a
never really
nice
felt like-
zen rate.
Felt like we was going to get something in there earlier in the day. Like,
Mhm.
I was surprised it was as quiet as it was.
Yeah.
You know, it just kind of seemed like all of a sudden everybody was
I
like,
was
you
just
know what,
trying
we're
to
done.
adjust this. 'Cause it's,
I mean, through the whole village, it's like they all went to bed.
Mm-hmm. Sunset, and so did they.
Yeah, this thing is not staying stable.
Yeah, I was having issues with mine staying stable. on
Sorry
there.
about that, guys. Just trying to.
Oh no.
There we go.
Good night, Kim. Thank you for
Now we're
for
charging.
watching.
All right. While we're getting this stuff together, let's set up some flashlights.
Yeah,
You wouldn't mind
with this one,
holding that
and I
while we're
won't
setting those up?
spend too much time on this one, but
Yeah, may need that.
Yeah.
we had thought that maybe we would play poker, kind of like what we did there at Hey Good Meal. And so we set up the flashlights, set up the cards, and started to do a session, and totally different results than what we got there at the cabin there at Hey Good Meal.
Which just reinforces to me that what we were getting was even better.
That's what I'm saying.
But we were using cards.
Mhm.
We were using regular cards, and me and her, when we went to the museum, the Confederate cards didn't even have numbers on them. So
Yeah.
maybe they didn't recognize the cards or something. I don't
Oh,
know. Maybe had we used Confederate cards, we might have got a better response.
That's a real good point. I mean, I don't know, but that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they look totally different than
Well, you got to imagine how many back then they couldn't even read or write. So,
Mhm.
Cards
true.
with numbers on them, they might not even know what they were even looking at.
Mhm. Mhm. And a lot of the time, I really feel like the things that you don't get are just as important, if not more, than the things that you do get at other locations when you're using these tools. As far as testing your tools out and testing the location out, I think that sometimes that really validates the activity that you do get. So
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
honestly, I was not disappointed really
Yeah.
when it didn't happen, when nothing happened here. It just kind of reinforced my excitement about the experiment at the other location.
Mhm. And yeah, you want to be able to recreate something somewhere else, but you really don't want to recreate it everywhere because it's not going to be applicable everywhere you go. Like if we went to a prison where we'd probably do really good at a poker game, you know, but here maybe that just wasn't the case, but you also want to be able to replicate some of these experiments too, because if they only work one time, was it coincidence? But I love it when we can get something somewhere else, try that experiment in another place and get it to work too, but it's got to make sense in the place that you're trying it. So that's a whole topic, but yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and I mean, with this, the similarity is being in a cabin. Similarity, kind of. I think it was similar time frame, but not quite. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember the time frame that it was there at that specific cabin that we were in. I know the Burdine cabin was the 1700s. I can't remember on
I
the
think it
other one.
might have been a little different time frame. I don't know. Too bad Brandon ain't on here. He could let us know.
No, I saw where he had pneumonia or was
Yeah, I
getting over
know.
pneumonia. Yeah.
Hopefully he feels better.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Well, the surrender was 1865, so
I'm betting it's a slightly different time period.
Yeah, because the mill itself was the youngest building
Yeah.
on the property. Is that correct? And it was like 1800 something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we probably were before this time frame, I would think.
Or
I know
at
a lot of it we were definitely before this time frame.
At
at
least
Haygood Mill.
1800. At least like if it was 1800, it was early 1800.
Yeah.
So, and it was rumored they were playing cards whenever that happened.
Yeah, there was a whole story with it. So
Yeah.
it
So
just made sense.
yeah. But regardless, still interesting enough to try and see. But I mean, we got nothing. Absolutely.
And I mean, the Confederate soldiers, I mean, they barely had food or anything else, so they probably didn't even have cards on them.
Yeah.
So they might not have had nothing like that. I don't know.
Looks like we got one light to light up right there.
Yeah.
We got a little bit, but it was definitely
Nothing like the other two buildings.
no, definitely not.
And the next time you come to this one, it might be the most active. Who knows?
It may be.
Very
And it'll be
possible.
interesting to kind of look up some of the things that maybe they did when they were in there to sort of see.
I like going into places blind, so that way I can just kind of get what I get on my own, not be biased or anything like that. And then when I go back, I'll have researched and looked at what I got last time, what can I improve, what might trigger something. If something worked really well, build on that. So when we go back, we'll have plenty of stuff to build on and can eliminate other things that didn't work well and build on what worked good. So
yeah, I think if nothing else, I think this was definitely a great building experiment and location.
yeah.
It looks like we were kind of
I was like,
packing
what is
up.
that? I thought there was like a doll there. I was like, I don't remember
I did
that.
too.
What
I
was
did
that?
too, actually. What was that actually?
Your bag, your camouflage bag.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, that looks like a doll. No, we went back in there and we were packing up, and we were doing the Estes method, and you can see the tripwire was completely dead at that point. I know I looked in the window at one point in time, and the tripwire was going off before it died. And then we did the Estes. I'm curious. So Tiffany was outside when she was asking the questions. I was sitting inside the church. You were in there with me, right, Daryl? And you had the obelisk. Yeah.
And I haven't got to see this, so I'm interested to see this.
Let's see. I can play that if we've got
I
time.
know at first I couldn't get that mic to work on the camera. Finally,
Maybe we'll
let's
hear
see, we
some
need to cut
cameras
her
or
off. I
something.
think
that would be
finally
really-
somebody had gave
So-
Tiffany a message that she'd actually started.
The point was for me not to hear, and I was standing outside like an idiot. I can't hear them. Talking to everybody else, like I can't hear what's going on. But yeah, so be interested to see how it turned out. People were asking some good questions.
But I never did see anything really on the obvious.
No, I don't think they've started yet. Because I don't hear anything. She looks like she's got her phone.
And I was
headphones
working that
on.
mic, trying to get that mic to
I may
work.
have to go back in and make sure he's got her microphone.
She
Yeah,
was
go
so
ahead.
far back
Is the
from the
mic on?
phone, I couldn't see.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't hear
But I think that's
anything
okay
from
because what I'll
her
do
camera.
when I
The
go in there, of
mic's
course we've
muted.
got the audio recorder in there,
Now it's unmuted.
and I'll
Go ahead, Tiff.
excuse me. I will
Still can't hear anything.
turn my volume
Yeah,
up.
go
I
ahead.
can't hear anything from her camera. Can you all?
Everybody in the comments finally let me know that y'all were starting.
Let's see here.
Are you the pastor?
Suspicion?
Do you have a loved one fighting in the war? Where do you keep the wine?
Oh, bag. That was a real creepy man's voice.
Where's the rum?
I can't take nothing serious. I'm sorry. What was the creepy
Down,
voice?
dark.
Who is a liar?
I'm not sure. There was a creepy voice that came through. I'd have to go back and listen.
Mind reader?
Several investigations are running together on me.
Magic?
Who are you talking to in there? Can you say her name? The woman in there that you're talking to through the spirit box. Can you call her name? Can you call to her?
Did you ever hear your name?
I don't think so.
Maybe it is a pastor. Are you the pastor? Do
I thought
you
you could hear
not
you
approve
all
of
around
us interacting with spirits?
What was that?
I said, I was thinking when I saw this or watched this, I could hear you a whole lot better.
And you might be able to, because what you all are hearing on this too is I guess hearing it. You're hearing it through StreamYard from my
Through
computer.
StreamYard?
Yeah, yeah.
Like double over.
Magic.
Yeah.
Is that about the
So
liar?
I think you can hear it better when you're actually listening to it, but a lot of the time there's a delay as well, and so I think it's kind of doing that.
Was
Um,
anybody that was watching that night, did you all see or hear any connections between the questions that I was asking and what Miranda was saying?
It's just, kind of quiet.
Yeah.
what I may do,
'Cause I
I'll
think
go. Yeah, I think I had stopped at that point.
yeah.
I'll go back and watch that, and we'll kind of we can do a review of the Estes. That way we can definitely hear it better.
Why were you asleep, James? You're supposed to stay awake.
That's right.
You're supposed to be our eyes and ears.
Yeah, that's what my mom said. She's like, I can watch about the first hour and then I fall asleep. And it's like, yeah, but it's hard to do it in the daylight whenever everything is loud and noisy.
It is. It is.
I'm gonna do like I'm just gonna surprise and pop on doing a midday investigation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I just thought it was funny that the questions that people were asking in the comments, like they'd ask a question and then somebody asked another question. It was very specific. So I was very curious to see what you were saying that was making them ask those questions. And Dee was asking several. I haven't seen her. She's not on here tonight.
it doesn't look like she's on here tonight.
And she was one that was asking quite a bit of the questions, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Wow, I look creepy sitting there. I was trying to end it, I think, and I look creepy with that cross behind me in that church.
I'm sorry, but that cross was creepy. That cross gave off a creepy vibe.
I kind of like the cross.
I didn't like that cross. Crosses usually don't creep me out. That one did. That one looked like something somebody'd hunt a vampire with or something. I don't know. That or something weird about that cross. I didn't like it at all. Every time I looked at it, I got the chills. I was like, there's something wrong with that.
That might be the reason why I like it. It looks like something come out of a movie.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
And,
Nancy, well, we've got some cool places around here. We could do some day investigations that get some good stuff during the day.
I think that's what we should do is do daytime investigation and do it like on a weird random work day, like a Tuesday at 2 p.m. See who shirks their work duties.
Who's a slacker at work and hangs out with us.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, I think that we actually talked about that, doing some kind of spicing it up, doing some daytime investigating.
Now, you get some stuff on. You get some stuff during the day. I went on one at St. Albans, and we had real good luck during the day.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the prison, which it was active day and night, we got just as much activity during the day as we did at night. It's just different types of activity. Like, like I'm sure y'all get at the jail, you get phones ringing. Like 6 o'clock in the morning at Brushy, it sounds like people are up going to start cooking, like the cooks are getting ready to fix breakfast and they're going to chow, and different times during the day when they're, going to the rec yard or working in the wood shop. I mean, all that stuff, all that activity during the day, I get just as much cool stuff during the day.
Yeah.
And during the days when you see your good apparitions,
Yeah.
when you see your full body look like me and you people, and you chase them all over the place, and you end up being the only person in the whole place, and that's fun.
Yeah. Now I am not a fan of complete dark investigations, especially whenever and a lot of the time you'll see on my episodes I use ambient lighting or some type of lighting, because one, I like to show the transparency of, if I've got flashlights, if I've got stuff sitting out there, I like to show that, hey, there's nobody else touching it. We're all back here. And then I think you see some of your best shadow figures whenever you do that.
You can't see shadow figures. You can't see things moving if you're sitting in complete darkness.
Yeah.
If you want to sit in complete darkness, put you out a grid light or something like that, put a camera on it and leave. I
Yeah.
mean, or sit there and kind of watch it, but just complete darkness to me is just, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I don't see or get as much in complete darkness. I
I
mean,
don't
maybe
either.
the creep factor goes up a little bit, but I want to be able to see.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Daryl James asks, he says, have you ever investigated Appomattox Courthouse?
Not me personally, but our group has. And for some reason, I couldn't make it that night. And we also had another boy that had car problems. I think seemed like that night it was stuff going on trying to keep us away. But yes, we were able to go there and had good results. Just hadn't gone back. Hopefully, that's in the future. So something I might be trying to work on is going back to the Appomattox Courthouse.
And I mean, that's where Tiffany and I went and spent the day there. You have to tell me what the vibes are
So
like
cool.
when y'all go back.
What did you think of the jail?
Oh,
It was so cool.
the jail was awesome.
But
Yeah.
the lock, well, it looked like a carabiner, was as big as my head.
Yeah,
Like, it was huge. I was so surprised to see that. I was like, oh my God.
well, the jail that's where it's happening. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that place was cool. I
Yeah.
definitely want to do the jail. The
So-
jail was cool.
Yeah.
well, hopefully that's something in the works. So
Hopefully so.
Hopefully.
yeah.
Hopefully so. Keep our fingers and toes crossed on that one.
Oh yeah.
Right?
But I think I know we've pretty well gone through a lot of the episode there. And as Daryl said, definitely go on. He's gonna we'll have more information there on Clover Hill Village. You can go to
Yeah.
the website and everything. And as we release more stuff about this from our static cameras and from everything else, we'll definitely put more information on how you can donate to them, find out more about hopefully maybe they may decide to work out a paranormal program or something. That would be really cool.
That'd be
It's
great.
we're kicking it around. So especially just keep your eyes open maybe next year. Just watch your website.
Nice.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Anything else you want to add, Daryl? Why don't you again, push your team and anything you all have going on? I know it's the end of the year, so a lot of people have a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
That,
don't have a whole lot going on right now as
wrapping up.
far as any events or anything like that, but always got some in the back of the mind where we would like to go. But like I said, the end of the year where everything's probably done calm down. This probably is going to be my last for the season. But nothing as far as going on. And as far as the village itself, they don't have anything going on the rest of the season. So hopefully next year is when we'll try to get some activities and stuff like that going. So everybody's winding down.
Yeah. And Tiffany, we were talking. You were going to share a story about rugby.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows by now that Miranda and Christy run the ghost tours and paranormal investigations at Rugby. And a few years back, we were able to go out there and investigate. When I was talking about reading things out loud, this house was being sold. I don't want to give away a lot of details, but this house was being sold, and they had a pile of stuff that the family had done been through there, got everything they wanted, got rid of it. They had a pile of stuff, and so found this love letter to the woman who lived there, but it was not from her husband. And so we go downstairs and I start reading it, and it's like the walls start talking in that place. Like, I mean, it got her all hot and bothered me reading that letter. And I mean, but y'all definitely need to, go with Miranda and Christy and check out Rugby, because it is definitely off the chain. You see all kinds of crazy stuff there. I'm telling you, we were standing outside, and we were being told a story about somebody, and the person telling the story pointed at a woman who was walking this direction. And so he was like, she's a witch. And we were like, and so we walked about 10 feet maybe, and she appeared on the other side of the pond, coming from the other direction. There's no way. It's impossible. No way that happened. Completely impossible. And you really need to go check it out. But I wanted to tell that because I found that letter. I was reading it. I was like, ooh, I don't think this is from her husband. This is kind of spicy, and we got some good stuff. But everywhere at Rugby's like that. The walls talk. It comes alive. So, their jail is awesome, and then Rugby's awesome too. They really got some good stuff going on. If you're, coming down to the East Tennessee area, they're not that far apart, and so they've definitely been working hard and got some awesome places.
Well, and thank you, Tiffany. We appreciate that, and I just got to say, with Rugby being a Victorian village, you can't get more spicier than a Victorian love letter.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I still got the letter. Yeah. I'll have to dig it out and let you borrow it.
Yes. I'd love to see what that might trigger.
Yeah.
And that's actually a really good segue. Speaking of Rugby, we did highlight Rugby the first episode of the season. If you watched the last live, which was there at Renfro Valley Entertainment Center, I did say we aren't going to end the season just yet. We are going to make it 6 episodes for season 6. So technically this week's finale was not the actual finale. We are going to be going back to Rugby. And, we had a lot of technical issues when we were there. I've actually already reviewed the evidence from there, and we actually got some really cool things just during that short 2-hour live that we did. But we're going to go back, do another live from there. And I'm thinking, I haven't narrowed it down just yet, but it's probably either going to be Sunday night, Monday night, or Tuesday night of next week. We will go back for a couple hours and see what else we can get from where we investigated, and then before, and then also this time. So just kind of be watching for that. We'll try to give more than a few hours notice. We'll try to give a day's notice as to when exactly that's going to be, on what night that's going to be, but we will be doing that. And then, of course, next Thursday night, we will be live again. Unless something happens, we will be live with episode 5 of Behind the Screams, where we talk about the Renfro Valley Entertainment Center. And so we'll be covering that, which I got to say, that video right there, it's up to 22,000 views. My mind is blown. I don't even know how that's even possible. So I've never had a video get 22,000 views. So hopefully, if you haven't watched any of the past episodes, we've got 5 great live streams that you guys can go back, check out, watch those timestamps. If you see anything or hear anything, bring it to my attention. And when we re-release the episode, we'll definitely put those in there, give a shout out to you for sending that information in. So help me continue this further and put a couple great produced episodes out from these lives. So, but like I said, keep an eye out on the Historic Scott County Jail page, because we will be announcing our flashlight tours, guided ghost hunts, and ghost walks for November and December. We'll have those dates out tomorrow. We'll also have our lantern tours for the Village of Rugby and the Cemetery of Rugby for then. You can also book investigations through the remainder of the year. Those dates are up for Rugby as well as the jail. Again, the jail is climate controlled. Rugby, a few of the buildings are climate controlled, but most of them aren't as much. But we will be announcing the 2024 dates mid-November, so you're going to want to get in on those dates early, because dates at the jail and at Rugby do book up fast. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for that as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching tonight and sticking with me for the last couple hours on here. It's been a lot of fun going over everything.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll be getting with you, Daryl, soon on more
yeah.
information here as we go through the evidence. I'd also like to get with Dee Dee at some point and talk to her, about when we start putting these episodes together. Any stories or anything that she has, we'd definitely like to make
All
sure
right,
to add
great.
that.
Yeah, I'll give her a heads up.
Perfect.
Great.
And
Great.
Tiffany, I look forward to our next investigation.
Yeah, probably next week.
Probably so. Hopefully so.
Probably somewhere. Yeah. We'll find somewhere to do, something to do.
That's right. And everyone, thank you so much there in the audience for your comments, your questions, and making this the most wonderful interactive season yet. It has been so much fun, and it's comparable to none, so I'm looking forward. It's only sparked ideas of great things that I want to do here in the future with putting more content out. And Nancy Selly has done some great costumes for October here. We're working on something with that as well. So anyways, thank you all so much. Be sure to keep an eye out because we will be going live from rugby sometime at the first part of next week. And we will have that information out on there soon. And then also next Thursday night's live stream where we will be covering episode 5 of season 6. So until then, I hope y'all have a wonderful week, and we will definitely talk to y'all very soon. So take care and good night, everyone.